Guys, today we're going to take this Magicycle Deer, we're going to take it from a mountain bike, turn it into a street bike. We're going to do a lot of things to this bike. Stay with me and we'll do it together. So what we're going to do to this bike to start with is we're going to take the rear tire off and the front tire off, and we're going to replace them with a street tire. I'm also going to put in Tannis tube inserts in there in case we get a flat, you know, and also I'm going to put heavy duty tubes. I'm also going to fix a flat in the tire. I do not want to have a flat when I'm 30 miles out. The other things we're going to do to this bike is I'm going to change the crank on this thing. I'm going to change it. It has a 53 tooth crank, which is a pretty aggressive tooth for a crank for a e-bike to start with. I don't know too many of them out there with a 53. I know a couple with 52s. At this point, the manufacturers are putting on at least a 52 for the most part. This bike did originally get released with a much smaller crank. I'm not sure what it was, but people were ghost pedaling at 15 miles an hour. So with the crank that's on it now and the gear set in the back, this bike at 25 miles an hour, you're pedaling very fast. I won't say you're at ghost pedaling. 26, you're starting to ghost pedal. So I want to get this bike up to 28 to 30 plus with pedaling, because I like to go fast. I mean fast, 30-ish, you know, 25 to 30ish, let's say. I'm not going to do that with what's on it, and I like to get out there, I like to ride, I like to put the mileage on. A lot of people got different things they like to do with their bike. I enjoy putting mileage on it. So I get out there, I ride, I have a good time, and I look at it afterwards and I go, geez, I did 30 miles, you know? So we're gonna get this bike to go 30 miles faster. Again, changing the crank out, I'm gonna go to a 58 tooth on the rear freewheel. It comes with a 1424 on that bike. I'm going to an 1134, okay? So the 34 is your low gear, high gear, however you want to say it. It's the gear that you want when you're pedaling up a hill. I mean, if you're at first, you're really pedaling up a hill, let's put it that way. So because I'm increasing the size of the crank in this bike, I want to increase that granny gear, we'll call it, so that I have better ability to climb that hill if I need to. Now the 11 is now your high gear. So when I mean, you can't get any smaller than 11 as far as I know. So the chain will be on that very, very small sprocket in the back, and that gives you, you know, higher speed. So we're going to increase that. The handlebars, we're going to put a riser on this thing. It's a little bit low for me, and I want it to go back just a little bit. It's going to put me in a much more upright. This bike actually comes from the factory. You're pretty upright. I am bent over a little, and I don't want to be bent over like that. We're going to change the hand grips on this thing. We're going to change out the throttle. So this thing comes with a half throttle, and I honestly, because it takes up half of the handle here, I don't like it. So I want a thumb throttle. Thumb throttle takes up about a quarter of it. So that's much better for me because I want the room on the handlebar. So we're going to change that out. Hopefully by raising this thing up is going to allow me to tip back the screen a little bit, because right now it's okay because you're looking down on it, but if I bring the handlebars up a little bit, I want the screen to tip back a little bit. We're also going to add a bar extender on this thing because I run a bunch of stuff. Right now, this bike, because I've been out riding it, I've got 2 camera mounts on it because I do vlogs too. So I need more room on it. I mean, there's never enough room on them for me. If I showed you, I got other bikes over here, you wouldn't believe the stuff I have on them. So we're going to do that. pretty much that's it in the front end. Like I said, we're changing the crank. Now the big thing we're going to do to this thing, and I know this is going to be a video in itself, we're going to put a separate battery pack on this thing so that I'm going to end up running 40 amp hours on this bike. It's got a 20 that's already built into it, and I'm putting a 20 auxiliary battery. So I'm putting it in my bag. You will not even going to see it on the bike. I've got to route the wires down the frame somehow because I don't want to really see the wires either. I want this a nice clean setup so that people, when they look at the bike, they don't see a giant battery hanging off of it. This bike did a nice job of hiding the battery now. By putting that black on the top and the bottom, it slims that tube down, kind of makes it look like a regular bike. So the color of this bike makes everybody look at it anyways, but you know, you get that big chunky tube on the thing and everybody's like, e-bike, you know. So what they did was they, you know, put the black on the top, the black on the bottom. It's kind of nice to have the black here anyways, because when you scuff it, it doesn't show as much. But it slims that tube down visually. I mean, the tube's just as fat, but it looks slimmed down. So they did a great job there. So we're going to change the seat out on this too. I've told you in my other videos, I am a Cloud 9 fan. So this thing's getting a nice wide Cloud 9. I don't have a big butt, but you know, I want to be comfortable. Again, you know, I'm known to go out for a 60-mile ride. 60 miles, if you're on a seat like that, it's a very comfortable seat to start with, but not as comfortable as a Cloud 9. So we're going to put the seat on. Like I said, we're going to do the battery. We're probably not going to do the battery in this video, but I am going to do another video with the battery. There's a bunch of things you have to do when you put a battery in. It's not just bang the batteries in. We're going to have to go into the battery that's there. We're going to have to put a battery balancer in it, run the wires and stuff. So it'll be interesting. And, you know, if you ever want to put a battery on and you don't know how, you got to subscribe to me and you got to hit that bell icon, and then you're going to find out when I've got that video on. So I'd appreciate it. What I'm doing here is take off this this plug on this thing, and like I said, get a heat gun. It's the easiest way to make these things come off. Heat them up a little bit. You don't want to cook it, just enough to make it come off, just like that, nice and easy. You won't see me because the camera's facing down, but I can probably explain. So this one here, this is your low gear. So your hill climbing gear here. And as you see, the size of it is considerably bigger. This is your high gear here. This is the one that you want to fly down the street with. And this one is considerably smaller. So smaller, faster, bigger, slower. And these, so you don't need the tool to put them back on. They just spin on, and for the most part, once they go on, they lock themselves in. I am just going to give it a little snugness, but these things, like I said, they will tighten themselves. That's the way they're made. I've seen guys put these things on with a pipe, so you don't need, seeing if that does anything. Seems like a pretty good, it's got a Kenda tube in it. Might stick with these tubes. I did buy heavy duty tubes, but that's a heavy duty tube. All right, see, now that with the tubes out, I can do that by hand. Piece of cake. But yeah, I can see that they say not to put the tube in this. They say stick it in afterwards, but I've always put the tube in the tire first, so you stick this in and see what happens. First thing I'm going to do is check to see if they're directional. They are directional. And that's forward, so Well, I tell you, it's a little bit of a pain in the neck with these things, but hopefully it's worth it. I heard the ride is much softer with them. Still not the easiest thing I've ever done. Take the top off and this little tube comes out. You pull this off. Now I have the valve stem out of here, and I'm going to put this up. And you squish in the fluid. And you're going to put a quarter of the bag in it. So there's a little mark on the side. That says so, you know, one of the things I noticed on this bike when I was looking at it is the rims are all one piece. It's heavy duty aluminum. I have some other bikes that the rims look like they freaking pieced them together. It's weird. People ask all the time if it's normal, so I'm actually layering it. I'm going to flip it over because I want to check the line on the other side. So that's a front basket I got this thing on. I use those things for everything. Those are for a different bike. I actually just ordered the front basket for this one. I'm waiting for it. I'm also waiting for a couple other things that Magicycle's sending. On the road, you kind of want them harder. Okay, so it says inflate to 30 pounds. So 30 pounds it is. So your normal, these tires are inflate to 20 pounds. So I'm going to try to estimate how much I need here and then rip it off because it's a lot easier than unrolling a whole roll. I actually want to do another bike with this stuff too, so I'm hoping to have extra. I bought two 10-foot rolls, but probably a good 4 feet around this rim. Hey, my riding season is fast approaching done. I'm losing my day, and you know, I normally come home from work and I go out for a ride and I get the ride till 8 o'clock. Well, it's now 7 that sun's down, so my wife doesn't like me to ride in the dark, but I may be getting a good light or something and doing it because it really aggravates me. I'm gonna have to go join a gym or something. Overestimated by about a foot. crank on it. It's got the new freewheel on it, which is the 1134. New pedals on it. It's got the Cloud9 seat on it. I have rim tape on it that matches the bike. I'm really super psyched that I got that stuff. The factory tires have a reflective stripe in them. These tires do not, so the rim tape gives it that reflection. So now I can be seen from the side. The tires on this thing are super quiet on the road. These also run 30 pounds rather than the 20 pounds in it, so I've actually seen that I picked up a little bit on the battery time because you're running a harder tire. It's a street tire, so it's moving right along. I did the handlebars on it. I changed out the neck on it here, so it's an adjustable neck now. I can go forward or backwards on it, but I did tip it back a little bit. The bars, so I'm running the bars up and a little bit forward. It's comfortable for me. It gives me enough room to put all my stuff, my camera equipment, my phone and everything. Also allowed this display to be tipped back, which with the factory one on it, it's pretty much straight up and down. I did add the directionals to this bike. I have my Garmin up here, so this can detect cars coming. It also maps out routes. It's got GPS on it. It does a lot. Camera mount. Magicycle, this is the light that they gave me for free. I added the bar extender on this. Also put the mirrors on the side. This is from Magicycle. I changed it to a thumb throttle. It did come with hand grips, but I put my own on. I really like these hand grips, so that's what I put on. I run these on all my bikes. They're very comfortable. So I've got the bag on the back. Now the bag, this light on the back here, this, not only will it flash, and I can change the flash on it, but this has the radar in it, so it detects the cars coming up in the back of me, and it goes right up onto the screen so that I can visually see it, and it's also an audible beep. So these are I got these from AliExpress. So it comes with 2 lights and a controller and the mounting stuff. So I bought 2 kits, and then the controller can be paired to the other controller, so we only have 1 controller on it. So these lights, I can turn them on. I can run them in yellow. I can also run them in red. I can have them flashing, so both sides are flashing if you want. And then you can also, they're directionals. So front and back work same time. And I think I only have probably, I think it was like $40 shipped. So it's pretty reasonable for those. You know, I think it helps if you're going to be riding on the street. I'm riding on the street all the time, so now I can, let people know what's going on when I'm coming at them instead of using hand signals. I did add probably about 5 inches onto the chain when I increased the size of that sprocket, the crankset. So I'll show you what the parts are that I did change on this bike. So these are all the parts we changed out on the bike. This is the old crankset. This is a 53 tooth. We changed it to a 58. It gives me higher speeds on the bike. So these are very easy to do. You saw it. This is the freewheel that we changed out, so you can see how much smaller that is. There's the factory seat that we changed out. This is the old half throttle. So like I said, I did get it directly from Magicycle, so it plugged right in, worked fine. These are the old hand grips I changed out. This is the old bell that came on it, and this is what was on the bike for the handlebars. It really didn't have a stem, so we did get a rise out of this thing, which I wanted to get it up a little bit. So now the bars are not equal with the seat. So I'm sitting in an upright position, which is great for me. So this is the tire that we changed out. Well, we changed out both tires. So this was a Kenda tire. These are very good tires. If I wasn't looking for a quieter tire for the road, I would have stuck with these. I love Kenda tires. And we also did put the Tannis armor in the bike while I did it. That was interesting. So I forgot about this. So when I bought it, they had it on Magicycle, but I have them on every one of my bikes. But I got this one from Magicycle. It was about the same price as you can get them on Amazon. These things are like, I don't know, under $20. But this is like your car. It's an alarm system for your bike. So I have it underneath the seat on this. It just goes up there with some tie wraps. But if I want to lock this bike, I hit that. Now, if this bike, once it sets, it'll give you a beep. There it is, it's set. So if I touch this bike, it goes off. It'll go off even louder than that, but I don't want to set it off and upset everybody. So that's now disarmed. So now you can shake the bike all you want, nothing happens. But I mean, 20 bucks and you know, you can hear your bike if somebody goes out and screws with it. It's a pretty good thing. If you're gonna run in a store or something, I mean, I'm still gonna lock it up if I'm going in a store, but with that on there too, it just gives me a little bit of peace of mind. So something you might wanna consider for a $20 investment on your bike. I like it. Guys, you're still here and it's the end of the video, so it must mean I did something right today. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, because we are gonna take this thing for a ride. You wanna be notified when I do it. If there's any questions on what we did today, leave it in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I check it all the time, so it shouldn't be that long. And if there's something that you'd like to see me do in the future, let me know that too.